Hello and welcome to Eat, Drink and Play. I'm Sam and together with Dan, Kris and Peter, we are the Staying In Podcast. You can find out more about us by searching for Staying In Pod on Twitter, Instagram or Facebook. Now, in an exclusive for the Virtually Expo, we have joined forces with the wonderful people from Kosmos to attempt something different. Something that probably hasn't never been done before and probably never will again. Because if, like all of us here, you've ever wanted to enrich your board gaming experience, if you've ever wanted to, for example, know what food and drink goes best with your collection, then look no further. Because as you can see, behind the friendly face of Dan is a hamper. And in this hamper, the team at Kosmos has filled it with, well, we don't know what they've filled it with. We assume it's food and some drink, probably. So what we're going to try and attempt to do, one by one, Dan is going to take something out of the hamper, and then our challenge begins. Because just like you would pair wine with food or cheese with crackers, we are going to choose a Kosmos game that the item that Dan pulls out of the hamper should be served with. We will be your board game sommeliers. Those people in restaurants that tell you which grape juice is best with your meal. Now, this should be simple, but we have no idea what is in the hamper. All we have are some great games and a good appetite. So we will begin shortly, but before we begin, I just wanted to check, has anyone ever done this before? Like, has anyone ever had like a wine tasting experience, or like one of those evenings where someone comes around your house and tells you like how to eat food good?
Yeah. I went on a gin tasting course.
Okay. I've done a gin tasting course. That's what I was going to say.
Right. So like the thing I loved about the thing I love about these sorts of courses and these sorts of experiences is that somebody who's way into the thing that's being talked about is just sat with you the entire time, and you're sat there making sort of like judgments on the food or the beverage, and they're sort of sat there like, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, taste is subjective, isn't it? Yeah, maybe you're tasting that. And obviously you've got it completely wrong. But also the other thing I like about it is you get to find out like weird, interesting things about the food or the beverage, right? So like when I did a gin tasting one, I found out it was called Mother's Ruin, and then I found out why. Don't Google it. It's not very nice. And then also I found out about like the beer brewing process when I went and did some of this stuff with beer, and I found out about this horrible sounding thing called wort, which sounds gross and is actually quite nice. It's kind of like Horlicks. It's kind of like a little malty beverage that you can drink. Okay, it's like beforehand.
So you know how to taste stuff, but how do we pair stuff?
Right.
See, that's where I had problems, because I would taste the gins and I would be told, this goes well with a lemon, this goes well with a lime, this goes just well with an orange peel.
Just down there, just with a whole lemon, just like,
it's an apple.
That's how you do the gin. It's lemon, it's lime, it's orange peel, it's grapefruit. Right. My personal favourite's cucumber. So I drink Hendrick's gin because it goes best with cucumber. That's how I do it.
Do you slap tonic in there as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not one of them.
You're not a monster.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem was I would taste the gin and they'd be like, okay, so this goes really well with a slice of lemon or a slice of lime, and I'd be like, tastes like gin. You tell me this goes well with cucumber, I'll take your word for it. You know far more than I. Your palate is much more defined than mine. So I just go along with what they say. I just listen to the experts.
Great. So we're all very qualified to do this. Should we just do it? Dan,
okay.
Do you want? I'm so nervous about what is in this.
I've had this for about a week and I've been desperate to look at it, but I've resisted. Let me.
Hopefully, it's not fresh produce.
Yeah, if it's like fresh fruit and veg, then we've really
there are no flies circulating.
That's all right then.
That's good.
If any of it's wet, just close the hamper and we'll stop this now.
If I feel anything moving, the video will cut out. All right. Let's reach in.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
I've got something.
Hang on.
First item is some smoked chorizo. So, a sausage of smoked chorizo. Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you want me to give you some details? I mean, I think we all know what chorizo is. So I don't think I need to go into too much detail on that. Chorizo de lion smoked over oak with garlic. So this is where we start our deliberations.
So what we're going to do then is figure out what lovely board game from Kosmos goes with a fancy sausage.
In this case, yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, specifically in this game. It's not just a
Gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this may just be a hamper full of sausages, so it may be a very short video.
All right.
So specifically, just in case it is a hamper full of sausages, specifically a spicy chorizo.
Yes.
You're sitting down, you're having a spicy chorizo. What Kosmos game should you be playing? It's
like smoky and flavourful.
Yeah, smoky and fragrant, and maybe a little bit of spice to it.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking.
So, when would we have that? I'd have it kind of as part of like charcuterie or something like that. So you kind of that kind of meal. Perhaps you might have it on a barbecue. That's coming from a different angle.
Or you might eat it like a pepperami. Whatever's up for whatever you're up for, basically.
No, I'm gonna call you on that one. You're not
like an upper middle class lunchbox. That is.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm starting to think of something like maybe something like a game like Ingenious, because I'm thinking that what does a chorizo have over a normal sausage? Well, it's about depth of flavour, isn't it? It's about time and consideration, and someone's really poured time into making this item. And when I think about a Kosmos game that does that sort of thing, then I think of Ingenious, like this nice little puzzle game that has that just little level of spice, a little intense depth to it that is different to other puzzle games. And also I think playing it, you haven't got a hand of cards, there's not a really a player board that you need to focus on, there's not any dice to roll, so your hands are free to eat the sausage, for want of a better phrase.
I mean, again, I don't think this is the kind of sausage you eat just like that. You maybe have it sliced or in pieces. I mean, I think Pete has kind of ruined it by calling it a big pepperami.
Other brands are available.
But yeah, for a game that has a little bit of depth, depth of flavour, that little bit of spice, I think Ingenious is a good place to start with.
It's a good shout, because also Ingenious is an abstract game, so it's very simple, it's very elegant, it's geometric. Pairing that quite neatly with something that is a little bit more complex and has a little bit more variety in terms of its flavouring. And as you say, Sam, Ingenious comes with a nice little stand to put all those geometric shapes in, so you're not holding them in your hands or anything. So with a nice cocktail stick, picking a slice of chorizo, maybe glazed in honey.
Well, I like that.
Because there are two kinds of pairings, right? The first is you find flavors that are similar, that work together, right?
Yeah.
And then the other kind of flavoring is you go for the opposite, and that provides a sort of that provides
umami
a contrast.
flavor.
Yeah, well, sometimes umami flavor, but it provides that contrast, right? So that would be
sweet and sour,
but also things like coffee and chocolate go well together, right? There's a kind of a bitterness, and then you have that nice milk chocolate, and they have a little bit of that sweetness cuts through it. So I think that's a really good call.
Yeah, and to be honest, if I have one motto in life, it's that a chorizo is just an abstract sausage. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, you're always saying that. It's your catchphrase.
Yeah, I mean it's an odd motto to live by, but I mean,
even if it is written in Latin above your family crest.
Yes. Done. Right. First one down.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Let's see what the next sausage is.
Please, I hope this is just a hamper full of sausages.
Okay, it's not a sausage.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we have some fennel seed tarolini, some Italian savoury snacks. Are you guys familiar with tarolini, or
No.
What is a Tarolini?
Tarolini is, let me read the label, because I don't know.
It's like Lloyd Grossman's here with us.
Yeah, Tarolini is a classic snack from Puglia, made with local extra virgin olive oil and local white wine. The rings of dough are first boiled, then baked till crisp. Delicious with a glass of wine. So we've got a bit of we've already got a pairing. So we're having this perhaps with a glass of wine.
So this is a triplet. This is early on in this video. We're hitting a triple.
Yeah.
So
we've already got a threesome pairing here.
So what's this called again? Tarolini.
Taralini.
Okay.
Tarolini.
I think Dan, you need to open this pack and you need to try one.
Yeah, because I don't know what these taste like. What is it?
Because if this is what I think it is, which is like a snacky food you're going to have in a dish, that's like, we're talking several steps up from Doritos here, then that's really going to colour what kind of game that we pick. Because already I'm thinking like, you know, those like ringed snacks. Like I'm thinking like, and it's quite a small bag as well. So I'm thinking like one of the 2-player series from Kosmos, like Lost Cities, Kahuna,
the smell
Targi.
is kind of similar to kind of pretzels and stuff like that. Let me try one.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I'm getting hand management, area control, tile placement.
Okay, I'm getting a combination of like a pretzel type texture with a breadstick type texture.
Okay.
There is a kind of an aromatic taste coming through with the olive oil. Actually, quite nice. And obviously the fennel seed as well. That kind of flavoring being pulled through. I'm very glad. Quite nice. I got the good end of the deal with this. With the hamper.
Yeah, exactly. I think. I'm thinking like, I'm definitely skewing towards either one of the cooperative games from Kosmos or one of the 2-player games, because I think that this is a nice like snacky food to have, like either whilst you're like cooperating with people around you or you're involved in a 2-player tangle. I think Aquilin's out the window because we've already that this is breakfast food and Aquilin's a breakfast game. So
can I just say, as I'm eating it, I'm developing more flavours and I'm developing more. The kind of that fennel seed taste does kind of carry on quite a long time. So it's not something it's not a taste that disappears quickly. It kind of is quite elongated. So
lingers.
Perhaps something that's a slower game could work quite well.
What about Kris? What about Paris City of Lights? Because that's like a game that has essentially 2 parts, like the initial crunch and then like the development of that flavour, and also a good game with some red wine.
It is a very good game with some red wine. I could imagine it. You sat outside in like a bistro. I mean, look at these postcards. Look at those. Just
it's a lovely, gorgeous
wafting
game.
in the air of like the Impressionists and Victor Hugo and all this jazz. Yeah, definitely.
These do taste quite bistro-esque. So that might be onto something.
That's it. I mean, the only reason I didn't mention it, Sam, was because like every time I play Paris City of Light, which is is that I don't know about you, but you've got these tiles which are buildings which you place in the city of Paris, but because they're slightly raised and it is really nice, they just look like iced biscuits. And every time I'm playing, I just want to, But no, definitely, I think that kind of that kind of lovely kind of bistro quality where you're getting a whole meal in just something very small and snacky that you can kind of pick at while you're maybe drinking wine or something outside a little cafe lit by the lamps of Paris. Yeah, definitely. It's a very intimate setup, Paris City of Lights, as a 2-player game, and a really lovely one at that.
Cool. Okay, so Dan, you can just snack
Beautiful.
away.
Well, those are delicious as well. So very good.
I've never heard of that before.
No. It looked like dry banana. That's what it looked like from.
No, I think they would probably sit in the pretzel family if there was a family of snacks. Let's have a little look then.
That's a great. Can you imagine that as an episode of Who Do You Think You Are?
Kris finally
You're actually related
with part of the pretzel
to the
family.
pretzels.
Yeah.
Okay, we've gone in a slightly different direction now. So we've had treat though. We've had some kind of nice kind of pretzely things. We've now gone for a curry flavored pot noodle.
Now you're talking.
So yeah,
now you're
talking.
talking.
Very. We've taken a left turn here.
Okay, do you want to, just in case anyone here doesn't know what a pot noodle is, Dan?
Yeah, give us
briefly describe.
Okay. I mean, we're all au fait with pot noodles, but for those who aren't, this would be a small plastic pot filled with dried noodles and basically dust, to which you pour boiling water on, wait 4 minutes, and then you're left with a beautiful noodle-based sauce dish, which you eat out of the container. It comes in its own container. So I think your microwave noodles, stuff like that, that's kind of where we're coming up with this. Not known for their nutritional value, I think it's fair to say. The curry flavour is not one I'm familiar with, so I'm familiar. I've not had it before, so I'll enjoy this. But what kind of game goes with like a really kind of quick, fast to eat, the kind of food that like you had a lot of when you were a student because it took a kettle to make and that was it.
Also, a pot
I've
noodle.
got an answer. You're not going to like it, but hear me out.
Okay.
The exit games. No, listen.
Okay.
It's a race against time. It's something quick. So there's a sense of speed is the essence of the exit games. They're escape room games. You want to kind of beat your time and eat them quite quickly. Not too quickly because you burn your mouth. Because obviously, and also equally the exit games, you've got to take your time while you're playing them. Sometimes you've got a range of different flavours there, particularly with pot noodles. And there's an exit game for everyone out there, really, regardless of difficulty or just theme. And lastly, like a pot noodle, it's not something you have every day. Well, I don't. It's a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And about the exit games, you play them once, you never go back to them. You know, when was the last time any of you had a pot noodle?
I mean,
Ask me again in a week.
Exactly. It's a treat. You have it once.
No.
And you go back to it.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
The issue I have with the exit games being a pot noodle game is you're right in saying the exit game is very fast paced and kind of constantly you're working to do as quickly as possible. A pot noodle, it's quick to make, but you still have to kind of step away, make it, eat it. There's no kind of downtime within that because you don't want to let it go cold because then it's really disgusting. So I think you would need something. What kind of game perhaps allows for a break to perhaps think things through, assess your next move? Is there something that would work well to kind of take a step away from the game?
I see. My problem with the pot noodle is that it's a solo experience. No one in the history of Earth and the universe has ever shared a pot noodle. No one's ever gone.
This is very, very true.
Clinked the noodles together.
So I actually think something like Legends of Andor is a good game to pair with a pot noodle because that is a game you could, if you wanted to, play on your own.
Okay.
And I can just see Kris now, while his partner's away, he's got Legends of Andor spread on his kitchen table and he's there standing there with a pot noodle, fork in hand, just thinking about the next move.
Yeah.
What's he going to do to take down the nasties that have invaded Andor?
In his pants. You know, like just not looking after himself, but because he's given himself over completely to this Andor
that is
game.
part of the cooking instructions. It's remove trousers before making, so you have to eat it in your pants.
I have a question. Has anybody ever chugged a pot noodle?
What do you mean? What, just like downed it?
So you said, oh, it gets all disgusting when it gets all cold. Actually, if you let the pot noodle get a little bit cold, right, a little bit cool, so you're not going to like burn your face if the noodle goes astray. If you let it cool right down, you can literally like you get the fork, you just whisk it up, and then like properly down a noodle. Is one of the quickest lunches I've ever had. I had like 10 minutes between meetings once to have some lunch. Made it nice and spicy. Let it cool down for a little bit.
4 minutes to make.
It was honestly, absolutely incredible way of doing things.
Well, that was a nice distraction, but it's not solved our pairing.
Other than the fact that Pete likes to down pot noodles.
But
well, that would seem to me that it would be more like Dragons and Chickens. where there's an element of dexterity. Pete was talking about a stray noodle coming out the side of his mouth there, where it's quite frantic. Maybe and action dexterity, and maybe a bit of pattern recognition. I don't know, but it's very quick.
Yeah, because like in terms of like eating, pot noodles are quite a dexterous food to eat. If you've ever tried to open that soy sauce packet without it spilling everywhere, then yeah, I'm good with that, Kris. That seems like a great choice.
Okay, I think that's settled then. I think we're good. Shall I go for another one?
Yeah.
We're on a roll. Let's not waste time. Let's do this.
Shall we
there's a
recap
box.
what we've done so far, or shall we just
I'm
Carry on.
excited.
go for it then, Dan?
Yeah,
Jeez.
go on, jump in.
I felt a box.
It's Christmas Day in the Frost House.
Tea bags.
Oh, but
Yorkshire tea.
specifically Yorkshire tea.
Right, can we?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've literally just finished a cup of it.
Yeah, can we get into the specifics here of the different tea types and why Yorkshire tea is important? That it's not something like a PG Tips or a Tetley or I don't know, woe betide us a Typhoo. Can we explain the difference for people who wouldn't know? I think that's probably worth it. So a Yorkshire tea is a stronger tea. It's a more robust English breakfast tea.
Yeah.
And that's obviously very important to people like us because it is a national cuisine, I guess.
It is a national dish.
It's a national
tea
dish.
is a national dish.
Yeah.
That and gravy.
So if you like drinking Yorkshire tea, what you are saying is you like your tea slightly stronger, you like your tea slightly more full-bodied, and you like going for long walks in the Yorkshire Dales. Probably, I would imagine. That's what it's made for, right? It was made for going out and having it in a nice little thermos mug where you sip away and keep yourself topped up with the restorative. So I think any pairing that we make with this is A, extremely important, and B, I think it needs to feel slightly British, slightly like it has a bit of a heritage, slightly like it's from the old times.
Does anyone else feel he's leaning towards something here?
Yeah, definitely.
This is Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft. Here it is, and it is for me. This is a perfect pairing. First of all, because a game's really good and Yorkshire tea's really good. Yes, it is. And second of all, it's obviously it's inspired by the adventures of obviously the Sherlock series from Arthur Conan Doyle, and apart from being a jolly good romp, those stories, they were all about solving mysteries. It was there were a couple of stories where Sherlock and Mycroft, who, spoilers, they're brothers. That's a slight spoiler there, slight 150-year-old spoiler. Sorry, everyone. They're brothers, and they're on kind of like the opposite side of how they approach different cases and so forth. They're both geniuses, but in this one, basically, you need to find out whether or not a person is an anarchist and is trying to bomb Parliament or not. But the thing I think that most pairs it with the exceptionally British Diego Ibanez's take on the Holmes sort of mythology is basically that it feels like they are antagonistic somewhat. It's a 2-player game. And a kind of like worker placement card drawing game where you essentially you send out your worker placement pieces, and you have different actions and abilities available to you, like a worker placement game. But what the abilities that will be available that turn is dictated by a bunch of different things. But partly that's who gets drawn from the deck, and there's a bunch of different characters that are from the books, and some that are kind of, I think, inspired by other sort of tropes and so forth. And it feels like the two brothers are kind of going head to head for a little test of wits.
Before I explain to you why you're wrong,
okay,
and why there's a better option, I will
loaded.
give you one other thing for your game as a good option.
Yeah, go on.
I can imagine the characters of Sherlock and Mycroft sitting down together and having a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they wouldn't.
the fact that you play Sherlock and Mycroft, play the game as those characters having a cup of tea, does make thematic sense.
They
However,
wouldn't sit together, Dan. But I agree with you.
I'm helping your case before I just blow it out of the water because I have a better option.
Fair enough. Yes, then.
Can I just help Pete before you blow this out the option? Because
yeah, go on.
when Pete started, I also was just like, what is this guy on about? Obviously, it's got to be something like Roll for Adventure or the Exit games. You know, something that requires you to brood over and like really think about, or the crew, something like that. You know, where there's a big puzzle and there's lots of like downtime to think about what your next move is going to be. But, and this is the crucial thing, is this is why I think actually Pete is probably right, is that Roll for Adventure, crew, the Exit games, like up to 4 people. So it's just like, anyone fancy a cup of tea? Oh, all right.
You got to do a
1,
whole round.
2, 3. Whereas it's just, you're only going to make 2 cups of tea if you're playing Holmes.
Also,
Sherlock and Mycroft.
Also, look at this, right? There's Mrs. Hudson, and she's making a cup of tea for everyone.
Okay, well that's it. So when you draw the Mrs. Hudson card, it's tea time.
It's tea time, and only tea for 2.
And also the game lasts 20 to 30 minutes, which is usually, on average, how long it takes me to drink my cup of tea.
Exactly.
Okay, so
I mean,
come on, Dan.
a lot of the points you're making are points I was going to make for my choice, which is Aqualin. Now, Aqualin, yes, it may not feel thematically as British as Sherlock and Mycroft. This a Life Under the Sea is not as British as that, with seahorses and all of the oceans. Wildlife under the sea? I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway, Aqualin is a game that on the podcast we would fondly refer to as a breakfast game. Sam, would you like to kind of give an explanation of what a breakfast game means?
So a breakfast game is very easy. First of all, it's a game that you play first thing in the morning, so it can't be mentally taxing. It can't be overly bothersome in terms of rules explanations or also taking up a lot of time. It's also got to be very respectful of its footprint in terms of how it sits on the table. You want the room for pancakes. You want the room for sausage and bacon and pot noodle or whatever. Yeah. So a breakfast game has to take up as little as real estate as possible on the table. And the only other requirement for a breakfast game is that you're not required to hold anything in your hands for a protracted period of time. So your hands are free to eat breakfast. That's it, really.
Okay,
Helps
so
you wake
this
up in the
meets
morning.
all of those requirements.
Okay.
It's a 2-player game, so again, you're only making 2 cups of tea. It takes around 20 minutes to complete a game. Perfect time for tea drinking. In terms of real estate, the size of this box is basically the amount of space it takes up on the table. All the pieces just sit on the board. You have 6 pieces at a time to yourself. So again, you're not holding those. They sit face up on the table. So you don't have to worry about holding them and moving between hands and while you're picking up your tea or pancakes, whatever it is. And it's just brilliant. It's super easy to play, super easy to pick up. I played it first time with my nephew, who's I think 12. We would both be able to pick it up within about 5 minutes. It's really easy. It's strategic, but not too taxing. And it's just a fantastic game. And I think for a cup of tea, like Yorkshire Tea, fits perfectly at breakfast time. Breakfast game, done. That's what I say. That's what I say.
Can I ask, Dan, who won out of you and your nephew?
It was me, and I felt a little bit guilty because I won by quite a margin.
Did you just absolutely devastate them? Just absolutely.
I did
you
have
teach
to
them the rules, though, Dan?
I mean, when it came to totting up the scores at the end, kind of we did his scores first, and like he was like, you've beat, even like I got halfway through his scores, like you've beaten me, and I was kind of like, well, and I was like, yeah, I have, but I was like, maybe you haven't. We'll have to wait and see. And then I typed up my scores, and I got quite a few extra points.
And you were
he was like, oh yeah, you beat me by loads. I was like, it's the first time we're playing.
Right.
I was like, it's the first time I'm playing. It's beginner's luck. And it's like, it wasn't beginner's luck. I was amazing. But you know what it was? What it was. It's a great game. And perfect for a breakfast table with a cup of tea.
I don't know. I think, Kris,
there's two pitches been put forward, Sam and Kris. Who wins?
Kris, I think you've got the deciding vote.
Dan, what clinches it for me?
Mycroft is it?
Is it breakfast tea though? Is it Yorkshire breakfast tea? Because
it is Yorkshire breakfast tea.
Will clinch
English
it for
breakfast tea.
Is it? You see,
I like a loose leaf at breakfast.
If it was just Yorkshire Gold,
it's Yorkshire Standard. I mean, there's only so much I can tell you. It's Yorkshire tea.
Okay. It's Pete. I'm sorry. It's to Pete. I'm afraid. I think if it was breakfast tea, then Aquilin definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine.
Thank you.
I think it's just the British link. I think it's just it's the tweed jackets, the pipes. It's Victorian London. It's tea.
But the thing is, here's the thing, Dan. You can have multiple pairings for the same thing. Like red wine, for example, goes well with all sorts of cheeses. It's
just cheese though.
Still just for all sorts of cheeses. It just turns out, that mine is the stinkiest. All right, that's it. So that works out well. So in exactly the same way, you now understand what it feels like, to be to be on the receiving end. Like the nephew who got kind of annihilated by your game of Aquilin. Let's move on to the next one, Dan.
Fine, I hold my hands up.
Move up to the next one.
Let's delve back into the hamper and see what else we can find.
Please. That was a good one. I enjoyed that. I think we can have two games for one thing.
Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah.
Pete, I think you should lead this one. Because our next item is Marmite.
Oh.
The most polarizing.
Now, for those of you watching who may not know what Marmite is,
careful.
Well, it's tagline. The thing, how they sell it is you either love it or hate it. I'm not a fan. Pete, you are a fan. What do you love about it? What is it that makes Marmite special to you?
It's delicious. It's a very salty yeast extract made from the runoff of a yeast that's used in the brewing process from lots of different British ales and lagers and stuff like that, all mixed together into a lovely salty treat that you spread on a bit of buttered toast. Now, it's also known this kind of food paste, as Wikipedia calls it, is a. Because I'm not saying I'm one of the Wikipedia editors for the Marmite page, but I'm just saying that is how it is referred to. It is also other versions of this, though clearly not as good. Things like Vegemite, and there's another one, isn't there? There's a few others basically that are kind of similar kinds of ideas. It's beautiful, vegan, gives you lots of B vitamins as well, so very, very good for you. But very, very, very salty. And you should put it on your toast in one of two ways. One, either very, very thin, or two, like you would put on peanut butter, very thick and just.
Hang on a minute. Your advice to applying Marmite is you either have it very thin or very thick.
There's no middle ground.
Kind of. I mean, what else? What other options are there?
There's no middle ground. What I'm saying is you can't just kind of, go off half cocked with your Marmite. Basically, you have to go either full force. You will shrivel up your mouth like the Gobi Desert, or you'll just have a small amount and you'll get a little bit of a salty taste in the morning. Now, I would say that the classic, you either love it or hate it. I feel like that kind of needs to play into whichever game we choose here, because I just think that works out quite nicely.
Yeah, I think there's so much that you can do with Marmite. It's a spread, it's an additive, it's a flavouring. So there's quite a lot you can do with it. I feel like, unlike those weird crisps we had and pot noodle, you don't generally just sit down and just have Marmite.
Like Nutella, just with a spoon.
So I think. Right, so immediately two things come to mind. When you mention the tagline, love it or hate it, I feel like Silk is probably the biggest game in my collection that sits on that love and hate barometer. Because I absolutely love it. Absolutely love Silk. It's genuinely one of my favourite games. Every time I played it, we always burst out laughing at something, and we always find something about the gameplay hilarious and fun. And I think even those people who don't like Silk, we always manage to find something in it of virtue and of value, and I'm always able to bring it to the table, which is why I think Marmite is a good pairing here, because Marmite is one of those things where you think you don't like it, but then someone drops a dollop into a casserole or a bolognese, and it adds that umami richness into a dish, or into
Have you ever deep fried some chips and then got a separate frying pan, sliced out off a load of butter and garlic, and then get a spoonful of Marmite? Let that sort of bubble away in the thing. Then chuck the chips on top and just do that second pan fry.
You have to open all the windows.
Yeah, definitely. But that for me is why I would say Silk, because everyone I played it with tends to either love it or hate it. But even the people who hate it, if served in the right way, they always find some sort of virtue or value in that experience.
That's such a good point, Sam. And originally I was thinking of The Crew, but The Crew isn't a Marmite game. It's won tons of plaudits, well deserved. But trick taking is one of those genres of games I don't like. And quite often when you're playing The Crew, it's predicated on you trusting the other person around the table. It would be the equivalent of me cooking a pasta dish, and then Pete walks up and just tips a tablespoon of Marmite into it, and he just leans in and says, "Just trust me, it'll work out. If we do all this, it'll work out." That's basically what The Crew is. You're looking around going, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, no, we're going to do this, and it will work out. Trust me, because we need to do this to ensure that they get the card at the end of this round." And that's what it made me think of The Crew. But again, The Crew isn't a Marmite game as much as Silk is for you, in terms of something that's a little bit polarising.
I think the other thing is, the thing with Marmite, and I think the thing with Silk, is that even people who don't like it can see why people do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point.
I mean, I'm happy to go with Silk. I've not played Silk, so I can't say if I love it or hate it. But I have to say, of the Kosmos games I have played, there aren't really any that I don't like. So I don't feel like any of them feel Marmite-esque to me. So I'm happy to go with Silk, because it sounds like it does fit it quite nicely.
Cool. And it's also, Marmite is quite a silky texture. So
I was about to say, yes.
It works. True. It works.
Cool. Let's head back in.
Head back in.
We're flying through these.
This is exciting.
We're doing very well.
Hang on, one's wrapped up.
I really love the range of stuff we've got.
Got a wrapped one. Oh, this...
That looks fresh.
What on earth? It looks padded. Fragile, maybe.
My goodness.
What is this?
With this this gaming evening is taking a turn as we have a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Oh my god! Right.
Oh yes.
Hold on.
Righty ho.
What?
Send the kids to bed.
Yeah.
This is serious now. Jack Daniels. Is it just a normal bottle of Jack? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a regular bottle of classic Jack Daniels.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, okay. So
You need a game where you don't have to like really focus in, because if you're spending the evening on the Jack, you might feel a bit fuzzy. So you don't want to have to like.
I've got one straight out of the gate, but I'm going to let someone else go first in case.
I think what can we say about Jack Daniels? So it's a very it's a beloved drink. It's quite it's associated a lot with sort of being different with strangely enough, like with rock and roll. It's produced in a place where it can't be consumed, which I think is quite interesting. And it mixes really well with a lot of other drinks too. It forms the basis of quite a lot of nice things nice little sipping drinks. But you can also just have a little sipping whiskey as well. Works out quite nicely in that way.
Yeah. Well, my suggestion here would be for a game like Ubongo.
Okay.
So, Ubongo, which is there, it's behind me.
Yeah.
Is first of all, it's a classic.
Okay.
Jack Daniels, a classic.
Classic.
You bring it to the table, and you kind of know what you're going to get. And this is a game where everyone has their own board, which has like an empty space in it that needs to be filled by a certain amount of tiles. And when the timer starts, a dice gets rolled, and then you've got a minute to find the tiles you need and arrange them in a certain pattern in order to fill a shape. And the first person who does it gets to raise their hands in the sky and shout Ubongo. And I think that feeling of victory and that feeling of, that competition between players could only possibly, as long as it's shared responsibly, could be enhanced by a bottle of Jack Daniels on the table. I mean, I know this is a bit dodgy territory.
Go on.
But
Go on.
Well, it's a family game.
Oh yeah.
Well, but that doesn't.
Okay,
But
can I come in with an option?
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah.
Because this feels a little bit left field, but I'm coming from the view of if I'm having a drink, what kind of game kind of suits that? So I'm thinking of a game that isn't necessarily super casual, but I can just relax with it and I can just play around with it. And I can have fun with it. But I also I'm a grown up. I'm drinking Jack Daniels. I want it to feel like a grown up game. So the one I'm going for, it's right behind me, is adventure games.
Oh.
Now, adventure games is a game that you can take your time with. You're working with other people, so it's a social game. And obviously, for a lot of people, kind of drinking is a social kind of activity. You can, as I say, you can take your time with it. You don't have to rush. The fact that over the course of an evening your brain might get a bit foggy isn't going to make a massive amount of difference to your game playing style. It's fairly kind of structured. You can use the Kosmos helper app, so you don't have to worry about reading and stuff. Because you can have that read all the elements back to you. I think this would be a really good option to have. You could have it with a mixer. You could have it just as a sipping whiskey if you want it to. And I just think it would be a nice kind of pairing just to spend your evening slowly having a sip of Jack Daniels whilst you play your adventure game. So that's my option.
So what you're saying is the Kosmos Helper app is basically the designated driver of your board game related evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's completely fair actually, and like on a side note, like I use this place City Skylines, but like it really did like that genuinely like crystallize everything, and it does keep you sort of moving forward. It does really help out in that way, and I definitely because obviously I've played the adventure that you were talking about, that Monochrome Inc. Like playing around with the Helper app, it's like it's very good at making sure that you aren't messing up. It's very good at keeping you focused, and that's definitely going to be of help, I would say, if you've had.
Also, as like a design principle, you've got something which is Jack Daniels, which is essentially something like an idea, a mix of ingredients that are left to like stew and sit and blend and age and become more complex, and then it ends up with this final product. And that for me is what like adventure games encapsulates about the point and click genre, a genre that has been left to like age and stew and mix and blend and mature for
But
so
also,
many years.
as the game goes on, certain elements become more complex, and the game itself transforms and develops over time, just like a fine whiskey does.
Well, there we go, done. Well, I thought that was going to be the most difficult one.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's good.
I got one right. Yeah, hey.
Good for you.
Okay, so that's Jack Daniels in the bag. Let's see what's
bag.
next.
Do you actually like Jack Daniels, Dan? Or
Depending on the mixer. By itself, not so much. I'm not.
If it's with a lemon.
I don't drink whiskey neat.
Don't drink it neat,
But
yeah.
if there's enough, if the right mixer's there, maybe does it go well with ginger beer? I quite like ginger beer as a mixer.
yeah, Jack and Ginger.
Yeah, might go for that. Let's see what's next. Okay. This is an item I've never seen before.
Okay.
Brilliant.
And I'd be surprised if you guys have. Yeah. This is what is quite simply called cock soup.
I see.
I have
Yeah.
seen cock soup.
What's
before.
this? What is it? What is it, guys? You tell me what it is. Let's see
Isn't
if
it
you're
just?
right.
Isn't it just like a pot noodle variant, but with it's chicken flavored? Like a chicken flavor. It's like a dehydrated pasta with like a chicken flavoring,
Isn't it like a broth?
I mean,
or a
you're
broth.
not far. There are noodles. There's a soup noodle based dish, but it is spicy cockerel flavored, apparently.
Spicy cockerel.
So, yeah.
Well,
What game goes with cock soup?
I've got it, lads. I've got it. It's Brutal Kingdom. One, it's animals.
I know what you're going to say, Chris. I know what
It's
you're going to
animals.
say.
It's a deduction game. So the fact that we don't know what this is means there's a sense of mystery attached to it.
Yeah.
For me, it's
There is a
Brutal
lot of
Kingdom
mystery
by
on this,
Michael
yeah.
Riernick. Definitely. That's cock soup.
Well, I mean, I can't offer any other ideas for cock soup other than that. So would anybody like to?
Because we don't know
throw
what it
anything
is.
else
It's
into the mix?
perfect.
I just think it's good that we never get quoted on the back of the boxes.
Brutal Kingdom, the cock soup of games.
Wait, hang on. The box of the Brutal Kingdom or the box of cock soup?
Both. That was a quick one.
All right, well,
Well
that
done,
was
Chris.
easy then.
Yeah,
You've obviously
Yeah.
been thinking about that.
it's a nice short
Well
one.
done.
Carry on.
Yeah. Chris has been sitting there thinking, come on, cock soup. Come on, cock soup. All right.
I think we handled that very maturely.
We did.
We absolutely did. It could have gone very badly.
In the wrong hands.
I think we got all the innuendos out when we were talking about the chorizo.
That's true.
So it helped.
It's true,
It's
yeah.
good.
Okay, so our next item
Yeah.
is Ambrosia Devon Custard.
Oh, a classic. A classic.
Now, what I would like to put to the group
Yeah.
is we've already discussed what is a breakfast game. What would a dessert game be? Because it could be that the custard goes with a dessert game. So what kind of attributes of a game would a dessert game mean?
Well, as all of my favourite desserts that come in tins, Ambrosia Custard, or Ambrosia Creme Anglaise, if you're paying 3 times the money for it, is sweet. It's rich. You can't have too much of it. It reminds you of a place. I find the most exquisite desserts always remind me of a place. So, for example, I had the most incredible French toast when I was in Paris. We found this tiny little restaurant. We've just down this little side alley, and we had French toast. And it was the most beautiful thing, and it was incredible. It always reminds me whenever I have it now. I always think about that. When I think about Ambrosia Custard straight out of a tin, I always think of sort of Sunday lunches with family, because you've put so much time and effort into the main of the Sunday lunch that really what you want is a Heinz treacle pudding and some Ambrosia custard. You want the pudding hot and you want the custard cold. And that definitely that reminds me of that, really, growing up in Kent, having slightly substandard Sunday lunches.
Okay. If we're going to go down this angle, then we're going to go down the angle of Ambrosia custard is like that time-saving, custard that still tastes pretty good.
Delicious.
Still have it.
Great.
I think
I am looking forward to this.
I'm going to go here with the liberation of Reitberg, because it's over my shoulder. You can see it there. Okay. So the liberation of Reitberg is essentially a slimmed down version of Legends of Andor, which is over Chris's shoulder. So Legends of Andor is this dining room table expanse of a game. Like, it's got a huge footprint. It's taking up lots of room.
It's a 3-course meal.
It's a 3-course meal. You're going to be there playing that with your friends for a good couple of maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And it's a cooperative adventure, and it's deep and it's interesting, and it does lots of really lovely little things. And me and Kris love it. I think we've decided that Legends of Andor is going to be our next cooperative sort of what should we call it, campaign experience. But what Liberations of Reitberg does is it goes, have you only got 30 minutes but you want that same sort of experience, well, just pop this on the table.
Yeah.
It's, in terms of a footprint, it doesn't take up any space at all. Everything's done by cards. Everything's represented by cards that you've got in your hand, but you still get that lovely crunchy co-op experience that you would do in Andor, but it's slightly condensed. It's quicker to get to the table, but it's still an enriching experience. So therefore, I feel like nothing's better than, I've not really got much time, heat up some crumble, Ambrosia custard, slap the bowls down. Come on, Kris, let's protect Reitberg.
Perfect. Yeah, you could make your own custard, sure. And I'm sure it'd be delicious.
Oh, it'd be lovely.
It'd be lovely.
But
it'd be lovely.
That'd be Legends of Andor.
Or you can play Liberation of Reitberg.
Yes, exactly. And what's interesting about that is you can actually make your own campaigns in Legends of Andor. So you've got these two things here, which are literally the two sides of custard. You can either make your own, and I'm sure it'd be lovely, very fulfilling, and a genuinely nice experience.
Yeah.
But who's got the time? Play Liberation of Reitberg.
Yep, heat it in the microwave. Devon knows how they make it so creamy.
Yeah, don't get them mixed up. The microwave and the custard with the game. But yeah, that'll do. I mean, this just gets easier and easier.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're experts at this. I don't know why we thought this would be hard.
Rhythm. Okay, I think we just need to come to the last couple of items now.
Okay.
So maybe two more. So
yeah,
2 more.
I'll reach in again.
Good. I mean, the thing that I'm most impressed by is we've not yet spoke about Razzia, which is actually a game about stealing food.
Okay.
I know.
And it includes little tokens of sausages, crackers, and cheese. So I think we've done very well. I feel like Razzia is our break glass in case we can't think of anything.
Yeah,
just
emergency.
If we can't think of anything.
Yeah. The game about food. Done. Right. Next one.
What's in the box, Dan? What's in the box? Come on.
Crinkly.
Ooh.
Quite swim.
What's this? Ooh, it's a small one.
Okay. I'll have to explain. This is a baby food.
Yeah.
This is a brand called Ella's Kitchen. This is strawberry and apples puree. These are when my little boy was very young. These are for after 4 months. These were very popular. They went down very well. So I think we're looking at kind of very much games suitable for younger people. Perhaps not like 4 months old. I don't think any board games are suitable for them. But let's take this and let's run with the idea of kind of perhaps a game that's suitable for kids that we can play with kids and engage and kind of perhaps teach them a little bit about games. Hang on, Pete. You look.
All right, so
perplexed.
I'm confused. So you obviously you've got a little one, and so you know a lot more about this than me. But so my understanding with baby food is it's basically that stuff what comes in jars until they're about 7. And then real food or whatever it is, I don't know.
7.
And then
When did you start having teeth appearing?
So what is that? Is that basically like a grown up smoothie but for babies?
No, it's like this one is strawberry and apples. This is strawberry and apples puree, basically. So in the exact same way you're talking about the baby food being in a jar, this is just in a kind of a.
It's in a little squeezy
larger
pouch.
sachet type thing. So you take the top off and you can squeeze it a little bit out onto a spoon and you can feed your baby that way.
Do babies?
So it's exactly the same thing, but just in a different.
Do babies still have
rusks?
rusks?
You take top off and you can replace and you do all that stuff.
Yeah. Do they still have rusks, babies?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Oh, at least I'm not completely out of touch with the kids then.
I mean, no, you 100% are. You thought 7-year-olds still ate baby food.
I don't know. So what? So it's got to be all right for kiddie malinks. Easy to digest.
Yeah.
I
Easy
think
to
also
feed.
with baby food, I imagine Dan, with your little one, you'd actually show the child you eating it. Go, oh, this is lovely, isn't it? Now open the curtains and let's let the sun in. You'd kind of then you'd feed the child.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I just pretend to eat it. I wouldn't like I'll have half, you have half.
Yeah, but it's a cooperative experience, isn't it? When you're feeding a little one.
I mean, I see where you're going with this. So I'm going to agree with you to an extent, even though I don't agree with you. But in order to allow this to continue, yes, feeding my baby is a cooperative experience.
Also, there's an element of chance because they may eat it or they may just throw everything everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, it's The Colour Monster by Joseph M. Alloué and Danny Gomez, which is a cooperative dice-rolling memory storytelling game. Happens in around 25 minutes, which I'm thinking about when my little brother was younger than 7, how long it would take him to eat his lunch and stuff. Because when I was thinking of that, when you think about the food you'd eat as a child, it's like when you go around to your friend's house and it's like potato waffles, it's fish fingers, it's like chips in the oven, like frozen chips, that kind of thing. It's the kind of like
that's what my 2-year-old eats. Okay?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so that's the level he's at.
right.
Just to give you a basic knowledge.
And
that
eventually,
kind of-
like what happens is then it goes there, and then there's the years of regression where he goes back to eating baby food. And then when he's 7, he finally like emerges from the pupa and the chrysalis.
Yeah.
From the cocoon.
From his cocoon, and then he can eat normal human food. So you're kind of half right.
Okay. All right. It all seems a bit messy to me. So, well,
All right. So the Colour Monster. I mean,
yeah, I'm up for that.
you're
That'd be
wrong.
my vote.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Challenge.
No.
Sam,
Challenge.
what's the answer?
hold your horses.
The challenge is the previous adult game I suggested for the alcohol instead is Ubongo. It's like, for me, this is a family game.
Right.
It's a game that, like, if I'm going to be playing a game with children, like, this is the first thing that I'm going to be pulling out the cupboard.
What did you initially pair with a bongo?
Oh, it was meant to be Jack Daniels.
So you relate now. I mean, I might not know a lot about kids, but that seems reckless that one would pair Jack with squeezy apple strawberry.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking here is, like, first of all, a family experience.
Sure.
Which is essentially what, the baby food is. Baby food is very simple. As Kris said, it's easy to digest. Ubongo is like the easiest game to understand and play. You're just picking shapes up and moving them around in the board. The first player does it, shouts Ubongo. And I think that, like baby food, that's sort of part of a child's development, where you're thinking of like introducing them to new things, but gradually, and like trying to develop their palate whilst also making sure they get a rich and wholesome thing. And I think that Ubongo is just like one of these games where it's so simple to teach, but yet it's so fun and exciting and exhilarating to play that just like baby food, I guess, it's that thing of capturing the imagination for that small bit with a child. Like Kris said, opening the curtains, letting the sun in, here comes the aeroplane, all that kind of thing. Like, just in a way that like baby food is there to kind of capture a child's imagination and kind of get them to eat and encourage to try and interest in new things. Ubongo for me works in exactly the same sort of way. And also, just like that baby food pouch, it's incredibly like, even though it's quite a big box, it's incredibly like efficient in terms of time. It doesn't take up a lot of time to play. It doesn't take up a lot of like space to play. It's fun and frantic and just as unpredictable as what feeding a baby food might be like.
Dan, do you just like an old like
you can't get past this, can you? You can't get past it.
Do you just squeeze it
squeeze
straight
it,
into the mouth? It's like
onto a spoon.
Have you never had a Capri Sun, Pete?
I like Sam and Kris. I like both of your ideas, but I think the key aspect, I think we could answer this question. Now, Sam, I know you've got a copy of Ubongo. Do we have a copy of Colour Monster?
No, unfortunately, no.
Not on
So
my
funny enough, Dan, I'm not the right demographic
what
for
the recommended age is, whichever's youngest should be the winner.
Well, I'd say, as the only one who actually has a child, that's probably more of a qualifier to make this decision.
Yeah. So you get to make the the choice.
Pressure's
Dan.
back on me then.
I mean, if you want to try the food, Dan, as well, that might help you decide.
I think that's what Pete's been angling for ever since you pulled that baby food.
Do you want me to
out.
have some?
Could
Pete? Is that what you want?
I just want to see how it works. That's all.
Do you want me to take some Tarolini, apply a little bit of strawberry and apple? All right. Okay, Pete.
Yeah, go on.
Pete's been desperate.
I just want to see what it's like.
open
So you
it
just
up.
grab that, yeah. Go on.
Cap comes off.
Yeah.
The simplest thing.
Now, I would typically usually have a spoon or something, but I don't have that because I wasn't prepared to be eating baby food.
No, fine.
So
Just straight in the mouth.
don't
mate,
have anything
surely.
available to me.
Well, is that? I assume you just.
Just like Pete would chug his pot noodle.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you've got
down.
to chug this
Go on.
baby.
There we go.
Oh.
There we go.
2020 really has been a weird
Yeah,
year.
it has, isn't it? Yeah, it's been a very strange year because Dan's eating baby food at one of the world's largest board game conventions. So I mean that's quite exciting, really.
And now, Dan, doesn't that make you want to jump up and shout, "Ubongo!"
Actually doesn't because it's also like for babies. There's no like extra sugar in it or anything like that, so it's just the fruit pureed. And so it's quite thick, so it actually doesn't make me want to jump up. So I'm kind of thinking, no, it's not bad. It's not bad, Pete. It's good. I'm kind of thinking that the Colour Monster is the way to go.
Yeah, do it.
I mean, what does it say about us that the one item in that hamper we've spoken the most about is baby food?
Yeah, I mean it's great. I love it.
You didn't get me to try the custard or the Jack Daniels, did you? No.
Nah.
I know what those taste like.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So yeah, Colour Monster. I think we've got room for one more. I think we've got time for one last
One more.
Last one. And still so many games.
Yeah, there's loads
to pick from. So
All right. It's a bag of something.
Okay.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay, our final one
Yeah.
is a bag of jelly babies.
Ooh, best till last. Best till last.
Now,
So,
You see,
straight
yeah.
from the off,
yeah.
my thinking
Yeah.
is it needs a game where you can just put it to one side and you can pick at it and you can just take your time and just you have it, so you don't need to really worry about that. You kind of you're speeding through. You're not really stopping. You're just kind of giving yourself a little boost. My thinking is the exit games. We're all big fans of the exit games, and I think you pop these jelly babies in a bowl on a table. If you want to have some Jack Daniels, you can. If you want to have some Marmite or some custard, you can. If there's a baby there, brilliant. But you have a little bowl of jelly babies that, whilst you're solving your puzzles, solve a puzzle, you give yourself a treat. Done.
That's a great idea. But the problem, of course, is that the true home of the jelly baby is in the driver's compartment in a car for about 8 months. Because basically you buy them when you go on a long car journey. You have a couple, and then you put them into the little box of on the passenger side, and then you leave them for months and months and months until you do another long journey, and someone goes, "Oh, jelly babies," and then they get them out, have another few, and because they will survive a nuclear event. They are, because of the powder, I assume. They're good forever. They're good. You could eat jelly babies and they could be in there for 10 years in the glove box, and they'd still be fine.
Can I just take umbrage with that story based on one particular part of a sentence that Pete said?
Go on.
And I'll repeat this for you. You open them up and you have a couple. Like, that just never happens.
Yeah, that's true.
What monster are you where you buy a massive big bag of jelly babies, open them up, 1, 2...
Yeah,
not throat sweets.
Yeah. Well,
I think Pete's mixing them up with those little tins of like hard sweets.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
The powdered sugar. I think that's what he's mixing them up with. Which, don't get me wrong, appear in every single car.
Right.
That's absolutely
and
true.
we all know what they are. They're the little powdered hard sweets. Can any of us name exactly what they're called? The answer is no. No one actually knows what they're called.
Well, we all know they're jelly babies that have just gone really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. After someone had a couple and then left them for 3 years.
Fossilised.
Fossilised jelly babies.
So I feel like your experience of jelly babies, either you're thinking of completely the wrong thing, or you're not jellying right, baby. I mean,
got weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the exit games, yes. I feel like it's got to be a cooperative game here.
Why?
Because jelly babies are that kind of thing where you feel guilty if you eat a whole pack. You can eat a whole pack quite easily. I'm sure Dan is going to wash down well, no, you couldn't, because you just literally said you eat a couple.
Yeah. Oh no. But here's the thing. But they're my car jelly babies. If I buy another bag, I will deliberately mark them as such. These are my car jelly babies. Whereas the other one, they'll go right next to the Murray Mints. Whereas I'll
You don't have a car.
deliberately look. Just because I don't have a car doesn't mean I can't access a car to eat jelly babies.
What do you do? Do you just go to Enterprise, hire a car, and sit there eating a couple of jelly babies?
Just books a taxi.
I turn up to like a car showroom and I'm like, yes, I'm very interested in maybe purchasing one of these cars. Oh, well, let me show you the features. And as I'm being driven around, I just quietly open up. Yeah. And
Just a couple, and then you just leave them in the glove compartment.
Yeah, and then I go back for a test drive 6 months later. They're all still in there, proving my point.
And they've gone hard.
Anyway, so jelly babies are a sharing. I think you can eat a whole pack, but they're much better shared because, everyone feels guilty when they consume that much sugar in one go, and also they're also a delight to watch other people eat, because everyone eats a jelly baby in a different way. You've got like the monsters who will just eat them in one swoop. You've got the people who are really sadistic and will like chew off little bits and pieces of the jelly baby one by one. I remember when I was a kid, I was actually still now. I was convinced, and this isn't to do with jelly babies, but I'm sure there are people who do this. I was convinced that with jelly Coca-Cola bottles, I could bite off the top and actually suck up the bit of brown jelly that was at the bottom.
Hang on. You just said you still think this.
Well, anything's possible. I couldn't.
No.
Maybe I just didn't have the right technique. Anyway, so yes, so jelly babies are a shared experience. So therefore, I think Exit's a good shout, but I feel like if I'm playing Exit, I want a shareable food which is going to get the old neurons filing. I'm talking walnuts, fruit, other selected nuts and food that's good for my brain. However, if I'm playing Roll for Adventure, which is a fast-paced, cooperative, you're throwing dice, you're killing enemies, you're unlocking gems, you're slowly like fighting off the Dark Lord to free the world from his subjugation. Like, I'm thinking popping a jelly baby, high-fiving a friend. That's like top, like premium. That sort of, I guess what I'm talking about is like that sort of like popcorn experience.
Yeah.
That a jelly baby is a bit different.
But a jelly baby is not an aggressive snack.
No. It's not.
Roll for Adventure, you've got a lot of aggression there. You're killing enemies. You're defeating people.
No. It's not aggression. It's not aggression. Yeah, you are beating enemies, but it's not there. I don't think that's like an aggressive way. There's like some camaraderie in that action. So like you might get to a position in Roll for Adventure where you're about to lose the game, and say if I'm playing with Kris, you need to roll a 6 because if we get to the end of this round and this enemy's still on the table, we're going to lose. And then Kris, last dice, rolls that 6. Jelly baby.
Pops a jelly baby. Pops a jelly baby for good luck.
Again, put it on the back of the box. Jelly babies for those perfect jelly baby moments. And that's a jelly baby moment.
I would say I agree with a lot of what you're proposing. However, I think for a game like that, you would probably need maybe a sweet, which adds a little, maybe more of a sour kind of sweet. So you got your jelly babies, a bit more subtle. I think you want something a bit more sour, like your fizzy cola bottles, that kind of thing.
Hang on, Dan.
That you need from the Roll for Adventure.
Hang on, Dan. Have a look in that hamper. Are there any Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah, there are any Sour Patch Kids. Have a quick look.
All right, talk amongst yourselves.
All right,
this is we've reached our thing. So
you have a quick look. What do we think is the best? Do all the jelly babies just taste the same? All the different colours of the jelly babies, or are they differently flavoured?
They're differently flavoured.
Do you reckon you could in a blindfolded taste test? Do you reckon you could figure out the difference between a green and a pink one?
Yes.
That is I just do not believe you. I can't believe
you. Because one's grapefruit flavoured and one's lime flavoured.
I just don't.
Okay, so I don't have Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, but what would be appropriate?
I can offer you some sherbet.
Oh.
Okay.
So that's a solitary experience.
Yeah, that's Roll for Adventure.
I can offer you some Mawams. Again, solitary experiences. Perhaps Pop Rocks.
Oh, Pop Rocks. No, I still think Jelly Babies Roll for Adventure. Put some of that sherbet on top.
Yeah,
you've got that little bit of spice, that little bit of tingling you're looking for.
Yeah.
Well, what you've just created there, Sam, is the fizzy cola bottle.
I've Sour Patch Kids.
I feel like a Jelly Baby is like more of a provision than any of those other ones. Like if you were out in like the wilds and stuff, if somebody said, "Oh, we've only got like there's only 2 sort of old school 1980s British sweets available, and we're gonna, you're gonna have them for sustenance. Do you want Pop Rocks or do you want Jelly Babies? I think if I had to, I'd go with Jelly Babies because I'd be like, well, they'd be more nourishing, more filling, and that feels like something you would need on an adventure rather than like Pop Rocks or sherbet.
My other suggestion is substituting them, because you get quite a lot in a pack, is to substitute one of your resources in Targi with Jelly Babies.
Perfect.
And then you're creating a sub-game where you can eat the Jelly Baby, but you're also eating resources. So can you hold on? Can you hold on until you need to trade those resources in for victory points?
What you're in effect doing is creating an expansion.
Yeah.
Yes.
An official variant.
Yeah.
With a best before end date.
Yeah, a Jelly Baby expansion. So, I mean,
as much as I liked my idea of the exit game, that is intriguing, and I'm happy to go along with creating an expansion for Targi.
So there we go. There we go.
But Targi in itself is like a hamper of a game in terms of all the different resources and all the different things you've got there. Like, Targi is a kind of a hamper, really.
Okay,
I
so
think personally.
So which one of the three resources, salt, dates, or pepper, should Jelly Babies be replacing?
Dates feels like
the sweet
appropriate one.
You have to go with dates.
And incidentally, if you
Otherwise,
lose
it's too
any of
overloaded
your,
with sweetness.
if you lose any of your silkworm pieces from silk, a Jelly Baby looks quite similar. They're equally quite nice and pastely coloured.
No, I like it.
So what we're really saying is that Jelly Babies are the ultimate Cosmos snack, is what we're saying.
I think what we're saying is that meeples and Jelly Babies they could be very, very similar, and I feel like maybe there's a business model in this that we need to exploit after this recording. There you go.
Jelly Baby,
yeah,
or meeple.
Perfect. Well, we've solved it. So do we have So what have we talked about, and how have we paired it, and why on earth have they let us do this? So we had what do we begin with?
So we began with the chorizo.
Okay,
which was ingenious.
Okay,
ingenious.
Next.
So that was ingenious.
Yeah.
We then moved on to the Tarolini.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which are very nice.
Was Paris City of Lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had some tea bags.
Yeah, tea bag.
Are you just smacking on Tarolini?
Yeah, so that was.
These are really nice. We've never had them before. They're delicious.
Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft.
Yep, cracking. I can't wait to play that. Actually,
it's really good.
Yeah.
I've got pot noodle, which I think that was Dragons and Chickens.
Dragons and Chickens. Yep, dexterity game. Perfect.
We had Marmite. I'm doing these out of sequence because I'm just surrounded by things now. Yeah. I got Marmite, which was silk.
That was it, yeah.
Silk.
I got me bottle of Jack.
Tonight's going to be fun.
That was the Adventure Games,
town.
wasn't it? JD.
Yeah, that was Adventure Games.
Mm-hmm. Good choice.
We have cock soup.
Sorry. It came. I'd forgotten about it, and then just came out of nowhere.
Well, do you know what? Let's move on. Right, go on.
That was Brutal Kingdom.
Yes, Brutal Kingdom. Excellent stuff.
We have Ambrosia Custard.
Ambrosia Custard. That was Liberation of Reitberg. If you're making real custard, then Legends of Andor
Obviously.
is the pairing for that. Yeah.
We have Strawberry and Apple, Ella's Kitchen, baby food, which was the Colour Monster.
The Colour Monster, yes.
And then finally, I think I've covered them all. Finally, we have our Jelly Babies, which were basically everything.
Yeah.
And the ultimate gaming snack.
All components.
All of them.
But ultimately, substituting for something out of, where is it? Out of Targi.
Yeah. That's the variant that will be available on the BGG downloadable page at some point very soon. I'm good. Should we wrap things up? Shall I wrap things up in a very professional manner?
Please.
Because I've got some snacks to eat.
All right, you crack.
Dan's got a recipe to make now out of all of that.
Well,
next year, how to combine them all together.
Well, thank you very much to you for watching. A big thank you to Nikki and everyone at Kosmos for helping get all of this set up so that we could do this, so that Dan could have lovely snacks, we could have lovely board games to look at and play around with and all of that good stuff. What we did... what we did,
What did we do?
Whatever we did was a slightly different format from what we usually do on our regular podcast. But if you do like what you heard, then you can subscribe to us wherever you find podcasts. So Apple Podcasts, that's a good one, isn't it? That's thematic. Google Podcasts, Spotify. Basically, anywhere you can find audio will be there. And if you missed any of this and you want to watch it again for some reason, then we will be putting it live on our YouTube channel at some point after the festival. Other than that, we hope you really do enjoy the rest of Virtually Expo. This has been really exciting to be a part of. Do give us a shout on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, telling us if you found a great new game because we paired them with some food and you hadn't heard about it before. Or indeed, if you find another great game that we should be talking about because of the rest of the festival. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this. This was really good fun. This was great.
That's good.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's been lovely. All right.
I've had a whale of a time.
You've had a great time. You've got a big old hamper.
I've got a banquet here.
I'm gonna go away and play some more City Skylines. Well, we'll see. We'll sign off.
I love the fact that Pete was just desperate to talk about City
Skylines. I know. I didn't get to talk about it.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Yeah, we didn't get a bag of cement in the hamper, unfortunately.